Today's question might seem simple, but yesterday I had the hiccups. I tried holding my breath, jumping up and down, drinking some water, and it finally went away. So I asked, why do we hiccup? Is it important? What causes it? I need to know. I'm Mikel, and this is what I learned today. Let's begin with what happens to your body when you get the hiccups. A hiccup happens when your diaphragm, that big muscle under your lungs, suddenly pulls down. That same muscle helps you breathe, but during a hiccup, it moves too fast, and at the same time, your vocal cords close quickly. That makes the sound we all know. Hic. It all happens in less than 1 second. But here's the question. Why does this strange thing happen? Most people think hiccups comes from eating or drinking too fast, and that's often true. But did you know there are many more reasons? Some people get hiccups from drinking alcohol or carbonated drinks like soda, or eating spicy food, or eating too much can also cause hiccups. But wait, it gets weirder. Here are some examples in which people kept hiccuping for days. There was one person who kept hiccuping for days, and doctors found out it was caused by a tiny hair touching their eardrum. Another case showed hiccups started after a man had a head injury, and heck, even stress or excitement can sometimes be the cause. Doctors have found that brain injuries, stomach problems, nerve irritation, and even infections can start hiccups. That's why doctors sometimes study hiccups seriously, especially when they don't stop. Now, let's get to the big question. Why do we hiccup? At first, the answer seems easy, simple. Maybe hiccups help us clear something in our throat, or maybe helps the body in some way. But when scientists looked more closely, they didn't find much evidence for that. In fact, hiccups don't help us breathe any better. They don't protect us from choking. They don't help us with digestion either. So, what are they doing? Let's go back in time for a little bit. Some scientists believe hiccups are a vestigial reflex. This simply means something left over from our past, something our bodies once used but don't need anymore. For example, we have a tailbone even though we don't have tails. Hiccups might be like that. One theory says hiccups started one or millions of years ago with animals that live both in water and on land, like amphibians. These creatures use the kind of gulping movement to breathe through their lungs and their gills. This movement looks a lot like a hiccup. Even today, young frogs make similar movements when they breathe through their gills. It's possible that the hiccup reflex is a very old system from our animal ancestors left in our bodies after we evolved. Idea one. Idea two. One that not looks at our past, but looks at the very beginning of life. Doctors know that babies hiccup before they are born. They can see it using ultrasound. The baby's chest moves in and out, and the diaphragm jumps, even though the baby is still inside the womb. These fetal hiccups are quite common. One study showed that premature babies, those born too early, spend around 2.5% of their time hiccuping. That's a lot. Some scientists think hiccups are like practice exercises for the muscles used in breathing. Inside the womb, the baby doesn't need to breathe yet, but the body is getting ready. The hiccup might be a kind of training program for the diaphragm. In this way, hiccups may have had a real survival purpose, but only during a short time before birth. That's pretty cool. So, how do we stop them? How do we stop hiccups? Many people have their own methods, but here are a couple that are scientific and unscientific. First, holding your breath. That is my favorite. This increases carbon dioxide in your body, and it might help stop the hiccup reflex. Breathing into a paper bag, same idea, more carbon dioxide. Drinking cold water. Now this can reset the nerves or stop irritation. Some even suggest swallowing a spoonful of sugar or honey. It stimulates nerves in the throat and might help interrupt the hiccup reflex. Pulling your tongue, yes. pulling your tongue. Strange. But they say it stimulates the vagus nerve, which connects to the diaphragm and brain. Pressing your diaphragm or pressing your chest. Some people just simply push just under the ribs or over their stomach to calm the muscle. And another personal favorite, getting scared. Some people believe a sudden shock or surprise can make hiccups stop. This is not scientific, but quite popular. But when hiccups last more than 48 hours, they can be serious. In that case, people need medicine, nerve therapy, or even surgery to fix the problems. So, what have we learned today? Hiccups are more than just an annoying sound. They connect parts of the body, your diaphragm and lungs, your nerves and brains, and maybe even your development before birth. But even with all of this, hiccups don't have a clear purpose. They may just be a leftover reflex from when we were babies or a time when humans didn't exist. They're still part of us. So the next time you hiccup, pull your tongue and see if that helps. All right? Just remember, I'm saying this only because I want to be clear. There is no final conclusion. These are theories. And so I hope you learned something. Thank you for listening. I'm Mikel, and this is what I learned today. Bye.